Hey guys, and welcome to today's session. Good morning. I hope that you guys are doing great. Today, as we look at our weekly plan together, let me share a screen with you. If we look together, we'll see that today for our 3 days, we are scheduled for number one. Today, we're going to introduce our new literature. We read our myth. If you guys remember, we read our folktale, sorry. And we read both of them and we discussed the characteristics of a folktale. And we realized that folktales do teach us a moral. Okay. Please be reminded for your bumper sticker activity. It was due last week. I realized that last week not a lot of us showed up physically to school, which was perfectly okay. But just please keep in mind that you do need to send me your bumper stickers via email or through assignments on SMS. Okay, I did receive a few people's. All right, Ward is one of them, and Zina and those Ahmed Sobr, those who came to school physically on that day that it was due. Adam Wilson, you have also emailed me yours, which is thankful for that. The rest of the class, I've yet to receive your bumper stickers. So please don't forget to email
Miss, I
me.
sent it. Do you receive it?
Ibrahim, did you send it on email, hun?
I sent it on Messenger, but you said okay.
I did. Okay, maybe I did receive it. I don't recall now. I do not have my grade book with me. However, I just remember that it was only a few students who did. All right. So if you did send it and I gave you feedback, that's fine. Please don't forget, please, guys, send it to me so that I do not deduct, grades for lateness. Okay. So
Yes, I sent
please,
it to you.
I'm going to check. Rahma, I have not received. I'm not sure if I received yours,
With
but I will
sorry,
check.
I just said something wrong. I sent it on SMS
You
on the
sent it via
assignment
S.
that you uploaded.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to check that again and I'm going to keep you guys posted with who sent it and who didn't. All right. So if you know yourself as one of those who did not yet send it, please make sure that you do so that your assignment is not counted as late. Okay. Another notification that I want to advise you guys about, it is basically on Tuesday. We are scheduled to have finally our chapter 7 grammar quiz. Okay, chapter 7 covered our sentence structures, which is going to be the simple sentence, the compound sentence, the complex sentence, and the compound complex sentence. Okay, we did cover chapter 7 review together. We only have a few questions left that we will answer them tomorrow as a general revision, along with our workbook pages as a general review before the quiz on Tuesday. Okay, this is a short week, and on Tuesday, inshallah, we're gonna dedicate one session for the quiz. So please keep that in mind. Okay, as of today, we're going to introduce a new literature, which is one of my favorite stories, which is Young Arthur. Okay, and it is a legend. Okay, so let's together look together on page 660 in your textbooks. You guys will see that young Arthur is a legend. Okay, and we're going to introduce I'm going to introduce it to you guys via this PowerPoint presentation. All right, so the genre that we're going to read is a medieval legend. Okay, and as you guys look on page 660, we're going to see that it's again retold by. And whenever we see the word retold by, what does that tell us? Can someone tell me? What does the word, why does it say retold by and then they mention the name of the author? What does it mean to be retold by? What does that tell us about the story?
It was told again by someone else.
Good. All right, Hassan. Perfect. Okay, so that means that Robert D. Sanssouci, okay, this is a French last name, is not your original author. Okay, so this author, Robert D. Sanssouci, is basically someone who heard the story and he is going to say it again or retell it or restate it in his own words in a different style. Okay, however, the storyline does remain the same and the characters do remain unchanged. Okay, so this is one of our things. Okay, this is our medieval legend. Okay, let's keep that in mind. So the genre or the type of story that we're going to read today is a medieval legend. Your author is going to be Robert D. Sanssouci. Okay, so let's talk about what makes a legend. Remember the characteristics of a folktale? We mentioned that it has an origin. We also mentioned that events do repeat in sets of three. That we have a moral, okay, that could be directly stated or it could be inferred at the end of the story. Hence, we made our bumper stickers. Okay, so all these are characteristics of a folktale. Now let's focus on the characteristics of a legend. What makes a legend? Okay, so here we have characters that are heroes or heroines. Again, heroes are males and heroines are females. Okay, so your character or your main character in the story is going to be a hero. And what do we know about heroes? Okay, if you have a character as a hero, what do we expect of a character that is a hero? Can someone tell me? If your character is a hero, what do you expect him to behave like?
To help others.
Okay, so to be helpful, good. All right, so here when we have a character as a hero, usually the hero is characterized by high moral and ethical values. Okay, and these values are being very helpful. Okay, what about, is he a coward? Do you think that your hero is going to be a coward? What do you think? What do you think, Kareem? Can you tell me? Is your how would your hero behave if he's put in a conflict?
Mm, he must be brave and the best role model for other people.
Good. All right. Good. Okay. Perfectly stated. All right. Your main character, which is the hero, is known and highly valued for their courageous acts. Okay, their act of courage, and also they're known to be a very they're looked upon as role models. Okay, people imitate them or look after them for being so being so virtuous. Okay, and they're also known for their fairness. Okay, so these heroes are actually very good people that we learn from them. Okay, usually legends are based on real events and real people. Okay, from history. But as these stories are told and passed down from generation to generation by word of mouth, these stories start to become distorted. Okay, and they start to become more imaginary and less factual. Okay, remember how I told you, if I tell you guys a story, you guys retell the story to other people say it in another way, the story keeps getting distorted and becoming different, then it starts to lose its actual facts and it becomes more and more imaginary. Okay, so is there a young author in history? Yes. Okay, people say so. All right, are these events real? They could be. Okay, however, as the stories are told over and over again by word of mouth, it becomes more and more imaginary because again, everyone that says the story adds on their little bits and pieces of magic. Okay, and yes, magic. Okay, why? Because legends are known to have storylines that includes actually magical characters. Okay, be ready to meet our character, which is known as by the name of Merlin. Okay, Merlin is going to be a character of magic. Okay, and what do I mean by magic? Merlin actually is a magician, okay, in the story, and his role is to actually reappear or appear at different times. He could also change the way that he looks. Okay, he can look like a beggar, and in an instant, he can just exchange how he appears and disguise himself in different identities. Okay, so again, here we have Merlin. Merlin is the magical power that possessed in the story. Okay, so again, what makes a legend? Number one, your character is a hero. Your main character, that means the character that the story revolves around, is usually a hero that is known for his courageous activities, for his bravery and his honor, and his fairness. Okay, he's usually looked upon as a role model for others to follow, which is definitely true for young Arthur. Okay, remember the story is named Young Arthur, so we could just already assume that Arthur or young Arthur is going to be our main character. Okay, he's going to be our hero. Okay, King Arthur is actually a real life character, as we mentioned before, who was believed to live in Britain around 500 AD. Okay, the setting is the medieval times or the Middle Ages. Okay, so just keep that in mind for the setting of the story. Okay, so remember, character is a hero. The stories are usually told by word of mouth from generation to generation. Legends are usually based on true or real events and actual characters or people from history. However, the more the story is told by the word of mouth, it becomes distorted. It starts to lose its factual information and it becomes more and more imaginary. Okay, this is what we know about legends. Okay. One of your main characters or your main character in the story is young Arthur. The story is titled after him. He is considered to be a real life hero or a chief that actually lived in Britain around 500 AD during the medieval times or the Middle Ages of Britain. Okay, so now we know a little background of the story. Okay, we need to understand that back in the day during medieval times, usually when a king has an oldest son, when the king passes away or dies, his oldest son becomes his heir to the father's throne. So basically, he is scheduled to be the next destined king for Britain. Okay, so usually when a king has enemies, and usually the fight is over power. Okay, so again, usually here after the king dies, you see all the enemies started to rise. Okay, they feel that now that they could fight for power. Okay, now the country is in a weak position where the king is not available. He passed away, and now it's time to take over power by killing his son, or specifically his oldest son, so that they could assume power. If they get rid of the son, then they can just automatically assume power and
Is
take
the
control.
eldest son who will take control after the father is called the heir?
Yeah, because the heir here is basically meaning that after a person passes away, you are the one who takes control of whatever it is. Not only it could not only be the throne, it could be any possessions. Okay, like anyone that passes away leaves any possessions, like any assets. It could be a car, it could be jewelry, it could be a deck of cards or anything valuable to the person that dies. If the person is an heir to it, that means he or she gets to keep it. Okay, so this is basically a word that means the person who passes away leaves his possessions for who. Okay, in this case we're talking about the when the king dies, who takes control of his throne, who becomes the next valued king. You understand, Ahmed?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Now that we need to understand also that when the king has his son, usually they make them train knights. Okay, and these knights, of course, they are very good with weapons and horses. Okay, and in order to become actually a knight, you have to be associated with a code of values. Okay, so a knight. Not anyone could be a knight. A knight has to be under a lot of training and under a lot of apprenticeship. Apprenticeship means that you have to be
Uh,
trained. Yes,
do
say
they follow a code of chivalry?
yes, a code of chivalry, which is basically, again, moral, ethical values, including bravery, loyalty, courtesy, okay, honor, and valor. And valor here is bravery. Usually, reading the story, usually one of your projects would be, and maybe this is going to be your project for term 4, is to create a coat of arms. Okay, and we're going to discuss what is a coat of arms. Ahmed, are you familiar with coat of arms? You probably are.
Yes.
Can you explain to us what a coat of arms usually is?
No, I don't know the exact definition. I know what it's based on. It's
Yes, you
like
can
the
tell me.
symbols for a family.
Exactly. Good. All right. Because again, it only not only about family, but your coat of arms could hold a lot of symbols that basically relate to the person. Okay. Usually the family name or the family title. It could be things that the knight stands for. Okay. And it's like a shield. Okay. It's like a shield that you hold as a knight in case and in times of war and so on for self-defense. Okay. So usually after reading King
Miss,
Arthur. Yes.
Miss, can a coat of arms be like the symbol itself be printed on a ring, be like molded into a ring for somebody to
Yes.
wear?
Of
Different.
course. Yes, yes. People, yes, they did that. Definitely. That's absolutely true. Yes, it can, Ahmed. Okay. So again, usually a knight. A knight is a again a very brave person. All right. It has to go under a lot of training. Okay. And they're very good with weapons and with horse riding. Okay. In order to become a knight, you also have to be associated with a code of values, or like Ahmed said, chivalry, okay, which is loyalty and courtesy, bravery and fairness, okay, which again makes him a role model. Okay, that being said and done, this is a good historical background, or basically what we need to know about medieval England during that time, how it works. Okay, the king is in control. And again, here we're going to move on to, let's look at the vocab. The vocab that we have for these for this section is grievous. Okay, if you guys could just repeat them. I know you guys are muted, but you can do that alone. Okay, repeat them after me so that you guys can see them. When you see them in the book while reading, we are able to pronounce them correctly. Okay, so let's repeat after me silently amongst yourselves at home. Grievous, okay, homage, homage, reclaim, dismount, flinching, flinching, upstart, melancholy, taskmaster. Okay, again, grievous, homage, reclaim, dismount, flinching, upstart, melancholy, and taskmaster. Okay, these are your vocab words for this particular section. Okay, and I am going to be defining with you the first word. Okay, if we look together at the first word on, it's on page 661 in your textbook, if you could follow with me. Okay. All right, so here the word grievous. All right, grievous here means to basically for something to be severe, okay, in a big amount. All right, like for example, she lost a grievous amount of cash. All right, that means it's severe. All right, she suffered from a grievous wound. Okay, that means how was my wound? Was it a surface wound? Was it something very simple? Or was it something very deep and severe? It is severe. Okay, so severe means that is something that is usually related to something being in deep, or again, this is the severity of the actual situation that you are describing. Okay, the next word that we have on our list, if we look together, is the word homage. Homage. Okay, and homage here means respect. All right, homage had to be
This,
paid.
is it pronounced homage? Like pay to homage to somebody?
Well, you can actually pronounce it that way. Let's yeah, you can say that, Ahmed. And what is the real word for that? Where does it come from? The way that you said it.
No, no, I've heard it somewhere before.
Yes. Also, we can say homage. All right. I've heard it pronounced those two different ways previously. All right. So we can say it again the way that you said it, Ahmed.
Homage?
Okay, or we can say homage. All right, so let's look here again. If we look at these are the words that I am looking for. Okay, and again, for something to be grievous, it means to be severe. Okay, a grievous wound. All right, that means the wound is severe or deep. Okay, homage, again, it means to be, to give respect, okay, or honor someone. All right, to reclaim something, to reclaim something. All right, imagine that I have lended Ahmed my pen, and I'm going to reclaim it. Okay, that means I am going to recover it, or gain it back again. Okay, I need to reclaim my possessions. Okay, to recover them. Okay, to dismount. All right, we have here a prefix of dis. Okay, to mount on something means to get on top of it. Okay, so if I'm going to mount on top of a horse, that means I'm going to go on top of it. All right, to dismount Obviously it's going to be the opposite, which is basically it means to climb down, which is going to be letter E. Okay, so again, dismounting means to get down or to climb down. All right, flinching. All right, flinching, we're going to meet it again in the story, and it means to cringe. Okay, usually flinching means cringing or basically moving backward in a threatening situation. All right, imagine being attacked with a sword or an enemy is approaching you with an object and you are flinching, or someone throwing a punch coming your direction. Obviously you're going to flinch, okay, or move backward, okay, usually in fear or maybe surprised or so. Okay, an upstart. Okay, an upstart means socially climbing. Okay, the company is in its upstart. That means it's just beginning to become socially known, socially climbing. Maybe it's starting to become a wealthy company or so on. Okay, melancholy is I think we've seen this word before when we describe the mood. When you describe a mood as a melancholy, we agreed that is related to unhappiness. Okay, a mood of unhappiness. We can say that the mood in the names was a little bit melancholy because again it was discussing the death of the victims of 9/11. Okay, so that was a depressing topic. And finally, your final vocab word, which is taskmaster, and it is someone who gives you orders, okay? Someone who is considered to be your boss, okay? Your taskmaster is usually your boss, okay? It could be giving you things to do or tasks to get done, and so on, okay? So these words are the ones that we need to discuss, okay? The big question that we're going to use here that I want you to answer with me in discussion, are we born, is there a job you were born to do? Okay, some people believe that we have a destiny. Okay, in your words, what is destiny? What is your destiny? What does destiny mean? Who has any input about what your destiny or what destiny means? If I say this is my destiny, what does it mean? Okay, Ward, please.
It's an already determined life that we can have control over, and it's going to be the same way.
Good. All right. So basically, your destiny is basically your predetermined life. Okay. It is a belief that we have that basically everything that happens to us is already written, okay, by God. All right, and that basically we are living it, and we cannot change it. Okay, even if we want to, this is the life that is determined for you. Okay, and other people think that life is what we make of it. Okay, in this legend, okay, the king, okay, a kingdom waits to find out which boy is destined to be its king. Okay, so here again we're going to see young Arthur's adventure, okay, and what he goes through to prove to his kingdom or to the people of Britain that he is actually the destined king to be, or the destined person. All right, this is his destiny. It's determined for him to be the king of England. Okay, I want you to think about your feelings about your future for a moment. Okay. And I also want you to consider individuals who have changed history through their dedication to a job or a goal. All right. So I want you to think, how do you view your future? What do you feel that you're destined to be? Okay. It could be an occupation. All right. And if you want to share that with me, that's fine. And if not, we can think of actual individuals that through their dedication to their jobs, they actually made a big change in history. Okay, so either topic you can discuss, either a person that's really dedicated to his job that was able to change his history, to change history or to make a significant change in something, or you can tell me about your own future. Do you feel that you're destined to work a certain job or a certain occupation? Do you feel that your future, that you're born to be something? Is there something that you're born to do? What do you feel? How do you feel? Any volunteers that want to share with me? How about Hassan?
Yes, miss.
Yes, can you tell me, Hassan, do you feel is there any specific job that you feel that you were born to do? that you're destined to be?
Not really.
So what do you want to be, Hassan? Where do you see yourself in the future?
I want to be a programmer.
What?
A programmer.
A computer programmer.
Yes.
Yes, you are very techy with computers. I know. I remember all the help that
I
you
already
provided.
program in Python.
You already programmed a?
Python.
Really?
Yes.
Great job, ya Hassan. Well, I know that you are always helpful with the computer whenever I have a tech issue. So I do think you are. I do totally agree. Think that you are destined to be one. Okay, Hassan. Thank you for sharing. Any other volunteers? How about Jumana? Jumana, can you tell me what do you believe you're destined to be in the future? Where do you see yourself? What do you think you're born to be? How about Kareem?
Yes.
Tell me, hon, is there a specific job or a goal that you feel that you are destined to be that you want to achieve for the future?
I want to be a pilot.
Pilot, nice, good. And why do you see yourself in this occupation, Kareem?
Um, I love traveling or seeing what other places are like.
Good. So you have that motivation, all right, that you like to see different places in different parts of the world. And of course, being a pilot is that's one advantage of it, of course. Okay, great. Thanks to Kareem. Any other volunteers? How about the ladies? How about Zaina? Zaina, are you here? Yes. Can you share
Yes,
with
I'm here.
us? Can you share with me, honey? Where do you see yourself in the future?
As a job, well, I actually think about a lot of jobs. Um, well, I like science a lot, so I wanted to be a scientist.
Good. Okay. Perfect. In which field? Like a scientist, like experiments and so on?
No. I was thinking about astronomy.
Astronomy. Mm,
Yeah,
that's very interesting. Good. All right. So, are you into that? You're into space and stuff like that.
yes.
Great. Thanks, Yazina. Anybody else that wants to share with me? Any other
I want to become
volunteers?
a surgeon.
Good. Ahmed, please tell us why and what kind of surgeon.
Oh, no, because being a doctor is a well-paying job, and my dad is a doctor too, and I want to become a brain surgeon.
Nice. Okay. So you're doing it for the payments and the wages which and the income, which is definitely understandable. Okay, definitely. Okay, this is of course one of the things that you consider when getting a job, which is definitely it's perfectly fine. And also we see that you are also influenced by dad or by your father. Okay, you look up to him as a dedicated doctor, and you probably see him and you're inspired by him, which is definitely also acceptable and okay. Okay, so you have the correct motives, Ahmed, and inshallah you will achieve it, inshallah. Okay, so the first thing that we need to discuss, we already discussed the background. Can someone remind me what is chronological order? We took it previously. Muhammad Walid. Muhammad Walid, can you please remind me of what chronological order is?
Yes.
Yes?
Okay. Can we,
I need you to just quickly remind us of what chronological order is.
um, I don't remember. I
I don't really remember them.
It's okay. How about Genna? Can you help us?
This is when you the order that you take in place.
All right, good. Okay, so when you tell a story in chronological order, you're basically telling the story in the order of which it took place. Good. Okay, let's read this paragraph for us. What can you please read this paragraph for me? Okay, so here, basically in chronological order, you're looking at the events occurring from first to last. Okay, things happening in the order or telling the story in the order in which it occurred. Okay, so read this paragraph for us, what, please.
Okay. In a legend, events are often presented in chronological order,
I
or
think
the
I'm sharing
order.
with you guys a different screen. I'm sorry, what? Let me share with you another screen. It's this one.
Okay. Uh, it seemed like an ordinary day when she got up that morning, but Linda was about to embark on the worst day of her life. First, she fell in the bathtub because her mother forgot to rinse out the bath oil.
So let's
Then,
stop right here 1 second. Okay, so the first event that took place is, of course, here we see that,
Yes, Miss Yasmin,
yes,
you said that in the weekly plan that is chronological order, there's a sheet for it.
yes, that's correct.
Yes.
I'm going to upload it for you guys for homework.
Okay.
Okay, but this is just this is not the sheet. This is just an explanation of what chronological order is. Your homework is going to be reading a story. It's a very short story, and I'm going to give you a list of events, and you're going to put them in order. Okay, in the order in which they occur in the story. Okay, so this is the chronological order homework that you have, and I'm going to upload the homework as soon as we're done with the session. Okay. Now here, what is reading for us is basically a tiny story, a very short paragraph. She first woke up in the morning. Okay, this is the first detail of the story. Okay, this is again the first thing that she did. Yes or no? Okay, so again, when she got up in the morning, this is the first detail. What is one keyword here, Yawed, that helped you realize what happened first? Okay, or what is one keyword or clue that we're using chronological order? Can someone tell us? Where do we see it here? The word what?
the word morning.
Oh, right, in the morning, right? And then here, first, she fell in the bathtub because her mother forgot to rinse out the bath oil. Where is the keyword in this sentence that tells us the sequence of events?
First.
Good. The word first is one of our clue words. It helps us realize that we are, or what kind of sequence, what happens first and next and so on. Okay, what read next, what please.
Then she spilled orange juice on the outfit that she had spent hours putting together for school pictures.
So what is the
Wh-
what is the key word here, Yawad?
then.
The word then. Again, here, all these are very helpful words that we can use to do what, guys? To put our events in a sequence, okay? To show us what happened first and then what happened next, okay? Continue. After the orange juice spilled on her outfit, what happened?
When she changed, she messed up the French braid her mother had put in her hair. As she walked out the door, she dropped all of her school books and her math homework flew away. When she made it to the car, she thought everything would be all right. She was wrong. Her father didn't look before he backed out of the driveway and ran into another neighbor's truck. Linda's side of the car was damaged the most, and she ended up with a broken arm. That night, she cried herself to sleep.
Good. All right. So we can tell that Linda had a pretty terrible day. Okay. Her day was just filled with lots and lots of chaotic situations. All right. We have the keyword then. And then here we also have the word as she walked out the door. All right. So here we could tell that two events are occurring at the same time. She's walking out the door, and what's happening at the same time? She's dropping her books. Okay, so as she walked out the door, she dropped her books, again showing two events occurring at the same time. Then we have the keyword once she made it to the car. What happened again? She thought everything was all right, but wrong. Father got into a car accident. Finally, we see the day has ended. with the broken arm. The time of the day is also helpful. We saw that Ward highlighted that we started out with the morning. And where did we end up, Ward? We ended up
Uh, that night.
at night. Okay, so we can understand here that the story takes place in chronological order. And again, the chronological order is to tell the story in the order or in the events, telling the events or telling the story in the order from for which it occurred, from first to last. Okay, it is considered the easiest pattern to write and follow because it's very simple and very organized. Okay, it's not there's no flashbacks. If you guys remember, what is a flashback? What does it mean to flashback? Who could tell me? Who could tell me what did it mean to have a flashback? Go ahead, Ward.
To remember a very old memory that took place from a very long
For a
time.
long time, good. And usually flashbacks, they do what? They interrupt the future or the present. Okay, so they interrupt the present to recall back events from the past. So usually when you're dealing with a flashback, it could cause some confusion for the timeline of the story. Okay, but as we see here, chronological order goes in detail in one, two, three, first, second, and last. We started in the morning, we ended at night. The story is very clear and simple and very easy to comprehend. Everyone understands what chronological order means, or how to detect the words that can help us realize what happened?
Yes.
Great, great. Okay. All right. So I'm going to stop sharing that with you. Don't forget, like Ibrahim mentioned, I am going to post a chronological order story, which is this one. Okay. You guys are going to see it's called Janie, the Genie. Okay. It's a chronology of a story. It's written in this order, and you guys are going to be expected to put it in the or to put the events that I'm going to provide in the order in which they occurred, and I'm going to upload it shortly after our session. Okay, if we look together here, we're going to look at the story. Remember, here the story is written in chronological order. Be careful for words like during these days. We're going to look at dates. Okay, dates could also be very helpful because they tell you the sequence. Okay, like when you're born in 1987, I graduated in 2000 and high school from 2005. Again, it shows you the sequence, what happened first and what happened later. Okay, we have less than a minute to join. When we join back up again, we are going to be working on, or we're going to be reading together young Arthur. Again, remember, this is a legend, and we're going to start to read it to understand what is what is young Arthur's destiny, and how did he fight for to be the destined king of England during the medieval times, which is called the Middle Ages. Okay, guys. So this session is going to end, and we're going to join back shortly. Please have your textbooks available, and also your notebooks for note taking. Don't forget, we're going to read, and we're also going to take notes so that we can refer back to it to study. Okay. Again, we have less than 1 minute. So as soon as this meeting ends, let's join back up again for our second session, and have your book prepared. If you don't have your book, please look at the screen with me. I'm going